And for Fighting Irish Preview, I'm Phil Houck. And to quote Marcus Freeman post-game, I'll never forget this one. And no doubt the party after this victory by the Irish tonight is going to go on late into the night in South Bend. And of course it started with just a few seconds left on the clock when the fans stormed the field. And that's when the party really got going in Notre Dame, Indiana, after a 35-14 win over number 4 Clemson, a big victory for the Irish, and certainly a joyous celebration for sure. The Irish used a couple of things in this game to come out victorious. First, they had a dominant ground game. They also had 2 turnovers, and they had another blocked punt. And those things were all critical. Let's talk about all 3 of them. First, the blocked punt at 9:08 of the first quarter. Jordan Botello got another blocked punt, the 6th for the Irish this year. That's just unfathomable to a guy who's watched football for 58 years, whatever it is. And Prince Colley picked the ball up at the 19 and ran it in, and suddenly the score ran it in from 19 yards out. Suddenly goes to 7-0. So that 6th blocked punt by the Irish, by the way, sets an all-time school record for single-season blocked punts. The Irish then scored on a 5-yard Drew Pine bootleg in the second quarter. And that's where it stood at halftime, 14-0, and that certainly was a great number. But it's still a little uneven, or I should say, a little unsure of yourself at 14-0. But Irish feeling pretty good at halftime. But then it continued to stand there until late in the third quarter, when the Ben Morrison show started, and Morrison picked off an interception at the Clemson 14, and then a couple of plays later, actually on the first or second play of the fourth quarter, the Irish turned it into 2 points. This was Audric Estime TD, I believe, and that made the score 21-0. But Ben Morrison wasn't done, the sensational freshman cornerback. Because on the very next drive, Clemson looked like they had something going. They had driven down to about the 25-yard line, I think, and a DJ Uyangalele pass went up the sideline, and Ben Morrison was there again at the 4-yard line, picked the ball off, ran it 96 yards to the end zone. So a pick 6 for Ben Morrison. 2 interceptions on the day, and including the 96-yard pick 6. That's a phenomenal day. Post-game, obviously Morrison pretty happy. He's been solid all year, and as a freshman, great things have been predicted of his future. Well, he came of age today. His quote after the game was, "I pray for moments like this," and obviously very thankful. And he also said, and he dreams of moments like this. So he had a career type of day. Hopefully many more to come for him, though. After the Morrison show, and that was when Irish now are ahead 28-0 in the fourth quarter. Clemson did manage 2 touchdowns, one of which was answered by the Irish, a 17-yard TD pass, Pine to Mayer, and that led to the final 35-14. Did I mention a dominant run game? Indeed. 263 yards on the ground for the Irish today. Something that was really necessary on a day where it was really windy, although the wind did diminish as the game wore on and was less of a factor later in the game. But having that ground and pound running game that the Irish showed today, you can do that against a great defensive front like Clemson has. Maybe you can do that to just about anybody. In any event, 2 100-yard rushers for the Irish today. Logan Diggs, 114 yards, and Audric Estime, 104 yards himself. 200-yard rushers, phenomenal. Post-game, Logan Diggs complimented his offensive line. He said that the linemen were as fired up as anybody in the huddles, as they knew that they could open holes almost at will today. He also thanked his offensive coordinator, and then he said, the job is not finished. After tonight, we go back to work, and indeed, the Irish are going to enjoy this one tonight. There's no doubt about that, along with a lot of folks here in South Bend. As they go to 6-3 on the season, Clemson falls to 8-1. Expect the Irish, to get back in the top 25 this week with that record. With victories over 3 ranked teams, North Carolina, BYU, and now number 4 Clemson. That's a pretty good thing to have on your resume, despite those 3 losses. But now the preparation will turn to Navy next week. Navy is 3-6. Tough game today for the Naval Academy against Cincinnati, a 20-10 loser. So you can tell just by that score. I didn't really look at the statistics for that game, but probably Navy's kind of up to their old tricks of limiting possessions, a low-scoring game there. This will be this staff's first shot at the Navy option, although there's a lot of experience on that staff that has played against the Navy option in the past. Hopefully that will work for the Irish. Once again, the happy final from Notre Dame Stadium tonight. Notre Dame 35, Clemson 14, and Marcus Freeman, 10 games now into his Notre Dame career, he's got his signature win. And as he said, off the top of his press conference, he said it's one he will never forget. So, for Fighting Irish Preview, I'm Phil Houck, and that's a wrap.